What if I told you that your body starts sending distress signals a full year before a major health crisis? Heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, these don't happen overnight. The signs are there, but most people miss them until it's too late. Have you been feeling more tired than usual, gaining or losing weight unexpectedly, or waking up in the middle of the night for no reason? These might not be random changes. They could be your body's way of warning you before something serious happens. Stay with me, this could save your life. Most major health crises don't come out of nowhere, they build up slowly, often giving off warning signs months in advance. Studies show that over 70% of heart attack survivors experience symptoms like unusual fatigue, shortness of breath, or digestive issues in the year leading up to the event, but ignored them. The same applies to strokes, diabetes, and even cognitive decline. The problem is, these changes happen so gradually that people mistake them for normal aging or everyday stress. But what if you could recognize these signals and take action before it's too late? That's exactly what we're going to uncover. By the end of this video, you'll know 6 critical changes that can indicate a looming health crisis, and more importantly, what you can do to stop it. Because the difference between catching these signs early and ignoring them could be years of your life. Stay with me, because the last warning sign is so subtle that most people overlook it completely, until disaster strikes. One of the earliest and most overlooked signs that your body is heading toward a major health crisis is unexplained fatigue. Not just feeling tired after a long day, but a deep, lingering exhaustion that doesn't go away with rest. You wake up already feeling drained. Simple tasks, like walking up the stairs or carrying groceries, feel harder than they used to. You tell yourself it's just aging, or maybe you didn't sleep well, but what if this is your body's way of warning you about something far more serious? Fatigue is one of the most common symptoms reported by people who later suffer from heart attacks, strokes, and even diabetes. A study from the American Heart Association found that more than half of women who had a heart attack experienced unusual exhaustion in the weeks and months leading up to it. Their energy levels dropped, but they brushed it off, until it was too late. Fatigue can also be an early sign of anemia, thyroid disorders, or even undiagnosed infections, all of which can lead to severe complications if left unchecked. Let's take a real-life example. Imagine Michael, a 67-year-old retiree. He had always been active, walking every morning and playing with his grandkids. But over the course of a few months, he started feeling drained. His walks became shorter, and he needed to sit down more often. He blamed it on getting older, but what he didn't realize was that his heart was struggling to pump oxygen efficiently. One evening, after climbing a single flight of stairs, he felt unusually weak and short of breath. That was his body's final warning sign before a silent heart attack. Now, ask yourself, have you felt more tired than usual lately? Have you noticed that your stamina just isn't what it used to be, even if your lifestyle hasn't changed? These could be early distress signals. But the good news is, fatigue is also one of the most reversible warning signs, if you catch it in time. It's crucial to pay attention to when and how you feel tired. If you're experiencing persistent exhaustion, especially alongside dizziness, shortness of breath, or muscle weakness, don't ignore it. So what can you do? First, track your energy levels. If you wake up tired every day, despite getting enough sleep, it's time to investigate further. Check your diet. Low iron, vitamin D deficiency, and dehydration can all cause fatigue. Monitor your heart rate. If simple activities leave you winded, your cardiovascular health may be declining. And most importantly, talk to a doctor. A simple blood test can reveal if your fatigue is linked to something serious. Fatigue is not just about feeling tired, it's your body trying to tell you something. And if you listen now, you might just prevent something much worse later. But this is only the first warning sign. The next one is something most people never associate with a health crisis, until it's too late. Stay with me. Another major red flag your body gives you long before a serious health crisis is sudden, unexplained weight changes. Most people assume that gaining or losing a few pounds is normal, but when it happens without any changes to your diet or exercise habits, it can signal something much deeper happening inside your body. Have you noticed your clothes fitting differently, the number on the scale creeping up or down for no reason, or a sudden shift in your appetite? If so, don't ignore it, this could be your body's silent warning sign. Let's talk about unintentional weight gain first. If you're gaining weight despite eating the same and maintaining your usual activity level, your metabolism may be slowing down due to underlying health issues. One of the biggest culprits is insulin resistance, which is the first stage of type 2 diabetes. Your body struggles to process sugar, leading to weight gain, especially around the abdomen. In fact, studies show that people with stubborn belly fat are at a much higher risk of developing heart disease and stroke. Another common reason is thyroid dysfunction. An underactive thyroid slows your metabolism, causing sudden weight gain, fatigue, and even depression. Take Linda, a 72-year-old woman who always maintained a steady weight. Over 6 months, she noticed she had gained almost 15 pounds without changing her diet. She blamed it on just getting older and didn't think much of it until she started experiencing joint pain, extreme tiredness, and trouble concentrating. A routine checkup revealed she had hypothyroidism, and her body was holding onto weight because her metabolism had slowed dramatically. Had she ignored the weight gain, her condition could have led to heart problems, high cholesterol, and severe fatigue. Now, what about unexplained weight loss? While many people assume that losing weight without trying is a good thing, it can actually be one of the most dangerous warning signs of a serious health crisis. If you've lost 5% or more of your body weight in a short period without changing your eating habits, it could indicate malabsorption issues, diabetes, or even early-stage cancer. Your body might not be absorbing nutrients properly, or it may be burning energy at an unhealthy rate due to an underlying disease. Let's look at Robert, a 69-year-old retired teacher. His friends kept telling him he looked great because he had lost about 10 pounds over 3 months. But Robert wasn't dieting, and in fact, he had noticed his appetite was slightly lower. What he didn't realize was that his blood sugar levels were dangerously high, and his body was burning through muscle mass instead of fat. When he finally saw a doctor, he was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, a condition that, if left untreated, could have led to nerve damage, vision loss, or even kidney failure. So, ask yourself, have you noticed a sudden change in your weight without an obvious reason? Are you gaining weight even though you're eating normally? Or have you lost weight despite having the same appetite? These shifts aren't just about appearance, they're your body trying to tell you something is off. If you notice changes, track your weight over time, monitor your eating habits, and look for other symptoms like fatigue, increased thirst, or mood changes. And most importantly, don't wait, see a doctor to rule out serious conditions. Weight changes might seem small, but they are often one of the first signs that something bigger is happening inside your body. And the next warning sign? It's something that disrupts your sleep, and could be putting you at risk every single night without you even realizing it. Stay with me. Another critical warning sign that your body gives long before a serious health crisis is disrupted sleep patterns. If you find yourself waking up multiple times a night, struggling to fall asleep, or feeling exhausted even after a full night's rest, don't ignore it. These aren't just normal signs of aging, they could indicate that your heart, brain, or metabolic system is in distress. Have you noticed yourself waking up gasping for air? Do you find yourself needing to use the bathroom more often at night? Or do you toss and turn for hours, unable to get into a deep sleep? These are all signs that something bigger might be happening. One of the most overlooked causes of poor sleep is sleep apnea, a condition where your breathing repeatedly stops and starts during the night. It's estimated that nearly 1 in 4 adults over 65 has sleep apnea, yet most remain undiagnosed. The problem? Sleep apnea dramatically increases your risk of high blood pressure, stroke, heart failure, and even sudden death. When your body doesn't get enough oxygen during sleep, your heart works harder, your blood pressure spikes, and your brain becomes deprived of oxygen. Take George, a 73-year-old retired engineer. His wife noticed that he had started snoring louder and sometimes stopped breathing for a few seconds before gasping for air. He dismissed it as just snoring until he started feeling exhausted during the day, struggling with memory lapses, and even feeling dizzy when standing up. A sleep study later confirmed severe sleep apnea, and his doctor told him that his oxygen levels were dropping dangerously low every night. If left untreated, he could have suffered a stroke or heart attack in his sleep. But sleep apnea isn't the only red flag. Frequent nighttime urination, or nocturia, can also be an early sign of heart or kidney issues. If you find yourself waking up 2 or more times a night to use the bathroom, it may mean that your heart is struggling to pump blood efficiently, causing fluid buildup that your kidneys are trying to flush out at night. Research shows that people with undiagnosed heart failure often experience increased nighttime urination months or even years before they are diagnosed. Then there's insomnia. If you find yourself lying awake at night with racing thoughts, waking up too early, or feeling restless, your stress hormones may be out of balance. Chronic stress leads to high levels of cortisol, which can increase inflammation, raise blood pressure, and weaken your immune system. Over time, poor sleep contributes to a higher risk of dementia, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Now, ask yourself, have you noticed changes in your sleep lately? Do you wake up feeling tired no matter how long you sleep? Have you started snoring louder, waking up frequently, or feeling foggy during the day? These might seem like small annoyances, but they could be your body's way of warning you about a deeper issue. So what can you do? First, track your sleep. If you're waking up multiple times a night, take note of when and how often. Check your blood pressure. If it's consistently high, your sleep problems could be linked to heart health. Limit fluids before bed if you're dealing with frequent urination, but if it persists, get your heart and kidneys checked. And if you or your partner notice signs of sleep apnea, like gasping for air, snoring, or excessive daytime fatigue, get tested as soon as possible. Sleep is not just about rest, it's your body's recovery time, and when it's disrupted, everything from your brain to your heart is affected. The next warning sign. It's something that most people overlook, but it's directly linked to how long you'll live. Stay with me. Another critical warning sign that can appear months or even a year before a major health crisis is a noticeable decline in walking speed and mobility. It might start subtly. You find yourself walking slower than usual, struggling to keep up with others, or needing to take more breaks. At first, it seems like a natural part of aging, but research shows that a decline in walking speed is one of the strongest predictors of heart disease, stroke, and even early mortality. Have you noticed that climbing stairs feels harder than it used to? Do you avoid walking long distances because you tire more easily? If so, your body may be warning you that something deeper is happening. Scientists have found that people who walk at a slower pace after 65 are at a significantly higher risk of cardiovascular disease and cognitive decline. A large study published in JAMA found that those who walk slower than 0.8 meters per second, about 2.6 feet per second, have a much shorter life expectancy than those who maintain a brisker pace. Why? Because your walking speed is directly linked to heart function, lung capacity, muscle strength, and brain health. When any of these systems start to weaken, your ability to move efficiently declines. Let's take Frank, a 71-year-old former construction worker. He had always been active, but over the past year, he noticed that his daily walks were becoming more difficult. He started stopping to catch his breath more often, and even short distances felt exhausting. At first, he blamed it on getting older, but when his doctor checked his heart function, circulation, and muscle mass, they found early signs of peripheral artery disease, PAD, a condition where arteries narrow and reduce blood flow to the legs. Left untreated, PAD can lead to serious heart problems, limb weakness, and even amputation. Frank had no idea that his slower walking speed was his body's first warning sign. But it's not just heart disease. Slow walking and mobility issues are also linked to neurological decline. Research shows that people who struggle with balance and coordination in their late 60s and 70s are at a much higher risk of developing dementia and Parkinson's disease. This happens because the brain and nervous system control movement, and when those pathways start breaking down, walking speed slows as a result. Now, ask yourself, have you felt more unsteady on your feet lately? Do you need to grab onto railings more often? Have you started hesitating before stepping off a curb or turning quickly? If so, these could be early signs of poor circulation, muscle loss, or even early neurological issues. So what can you do? First, test your walking speed. Try walking 10 feet at a natural pace and see how long it takes. If it's slower than before, it's time to investigate. Focus on leg strength. Exercises like squats, heel raises, and resistance training can help rebuild mobility and balance. Improve your circulation by staying hydrated, moving throughout the day, and avoiding long periods of sitting. And most importantly, talk to your doctor if you've noticed a decline in your ability to walk with confidence. Your walking speed is one of the best indicators of how well your body is aging. If it's slowing down, don't ignore it, because the next health crisis may be closer than you think. And the next warning sign. It's something that could be affecting your grip strength and ability to perform daily tasks, and most people don't even realize its importance. Stay with me. Another powerful but overlooked warning sign that can appear up to a year before a serious health crisis is declining grip strength. Most people don't think twice about how firmly they can hold onto something, but research shows that grip strength is one of the strongest predictors of heart disease, stroke, and even early death. Have you ever struggled to open a jar that used to be easy? Have you noticed that carrying grocery bags feels heavier than before? These might seem like small inconveniences, but they could actually be your body's way of telling you that something much bigger is happening. Studies have found that weak grip strength is directly linked to lower muscle mass, poor circulation, and even brain decline. A large study published in The Lancet found that people with a weaker grip had a 17% higher risk of dying from heart disease and a 16% higher risk of dying from any cause. Why? Because grip strength isn't just about your hands, it reflects the overall strength of your muscles, nervous system, and cardiovascular health. Let's talk about Robert, a 74-year-old retired mechanic. He had always been strong, working with tools every day, but over the past year, he noticed something strange. His hands felt weaker, his grip wasn't as firm, and he sometimes dropped things without realizing it. He assumed it was just aging, until one morning, while brushing his teeth, his right hand suddenly went numb. Minutes later, he collapsed. Robert had just suffered a stroke. His doctors later told him that his declining grip strength had been an early warning sign that his circulation was compromised and that his risk of stroke had been increasing for months. But it's not just strokes, a weak grip is also a sign of overall muscle decline, known as sarcopenia. After 60, people lose up to 3% of their muscle mass per year if they're not actively working to maintain it. This leads to frailty, loss of independence, and a much higher risk of falls and injuries. Think about it, if your grip is weakening, it's not just your hands, your arms, legs, and core are getting weaker too. Now, ask yourself, have you noticed that simple tasks, like turning a doorknob, carrying a pan, or squeezing a tube of toothpaste, feel harder than they used to? Do your hands cramp more often? If so, this isn't just about hand strength, it's about your entire body losing power. So what can you do? First, test your grip strength. Try squeezing a rubber ball or holding onto a heavy object for 10 seconds. If your hand tires quickly, that's a sign that your muscle endurance is fading. Start simple grip exercises like squeezing a stress ball, using hand grippers, or doing resistance band exercises. Increase protein intake and strength training, as both help prevent muscle loss. And most importantly, watch for other warning signs. If your grip is weakening along with balance problems, weight changes, or fatigue, talk to a doctor. A weak grip might seem insignificant, but it's actually one of the earliest and most accurate signs that your body is losing strength and resilience. If you catch it early, you can reverse the decline. But if you ignore it, you could be walking straight into a major health crisis. And the next sign? It's something that affects your ability to recover from even minor injuries or illnesses, and it could mean the difference between long-term health and rapid decline. Stay with me. One of the most alarming but least recognized warning signs that can appear months before a major health crisis is slow recovery from minor injuries or illnesses. If a small cut takes longer to heal, if a simple cold lingers for weeks, or if a minor bruise stays dark and swollen far longer than it used to, your body is struggling to repair itself. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's often a sign that your immune system, circulation, or internal healing processes are breaking down. Have you noticed that wounds that once healed in a few days now take weeks? That a flu or infection leaves you feeling drained for much longer than before? If so, it could mean your body is trying to warn you about an underlying health issue before it becomes a full-blown crisis. Your body's ability to heal and recover is controlled by many different systems, including immune function, circulation, metabolism, and muscle repair. When these start to decline, healing slows dramatically. One of the biggest culprits is poor circulation. If your blood isn't delivering enough oxygen and nutrients to tissues, your body struggles to regenerate new cells. This is why people with undiagnosed heart disease, diabetes, or vascular issues often experience delayed healing long before their condition is officially diagnosed. Take Helen, a 70-year-old retired teacher. One day, she accidentally scraped her leg on the coffee table. Normally, a small injury like that wouldn't be a problem. But this time, the wound didn't heal. After a few weeks, instead of fading, it looked worse, red, swollen, and irritated. Helen brushed it off, assuming it was just part of aging, but when she finally saw a doctor, she was shocked to learn she had peripheral artery disease, PAD, a condition where narrowed arteries reduce blood flow to the limbs. The wound wasn't healing because her circulation was compromised, and without intervention, she was at risk of developing serious infections or even losing mobility. But slow healing isn't just about circulation, it's also a sign of a weakened immune system. As we age, our immune defenses naturally decline, but when the drop happens too quickly, your body becomes vulnerable to infections, inflammation, and even cancer. Research has shown that people who recover slowly from infections or frequently get sick have a significantly higher risk of chronic diseases, including heart disease and dementia. If your body is struggling to fight off minor colds, skin infections, or seasonal flu, it may mean your immune system is no longer working efficiently. Then there's muscle recovery. If you strain a muscle, pull your back, or feel sore for days after mild activity, your body may not be producing enough growth factors and repair proteins to restore tissue. This is a common problem in people who are losing muscle mass due to aging, poor nutrition, or metabolic disorders like diabetes. If your muscles take longer to recover from simple activities like walking upstairs, carrying groceries, or light exercise, it's time to take this warning seriously. Now, ask yourself, have you noticed that your body takes longer to bounce back from everyday wear and tear? Do you find that colds or infections linger longer than they used to? Have small wounds or bruises taken weeks to fade instead of a few days? If the answer is yes, this could be a sign that your immune system, circulation, or metabolic health is declining, all of which can put you at risk for a major health event. So, what can you do? First, track your healing time. If cuts, bruises, or colds last longer than normal, don't ignore it. Support circulation with movement. Walking, stretching, and avoiding prolonged sitting can improve blood flow. Strengthen your immune system with nutrition. Make sure you're getting enough protein, vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc, nutrients that help your body repair itself. And most importantly, talk to your doctor if you've noticed a pattern of slow healing. Sometimes, simple tests can reveal underlying issues like diabetes, anemia, or even early heart disease, problems that, if caught early, can be managed before they turn into something worse. Your body is designed to heal, repair, and recover, but if that process is slowing down, it's not just aging. It's a warning. And the most dangerous part? Most people ignore this sign until it's too late. But now that you know what to look for, you have the power to take action before a major health crisis happens. And if you want to know the one final factor that can determine how long you live, stay with me, because this last insight might just be the most important one of all. Imagine waking up one morning feeling just a little more tired than usual. You shrug it off, thinking maybe you didn't sleep well. A few weeks later, you notice your hands feel weaker, and carrying groceries is harder than before. You're moving slower, taking longer to recover from simple tasks, but you tell yourself, it's just aging. Months pass, and then, suddenly, something happens, a heart attack, a stroke, a diagnosis you never saw coming. And in that moment, as you lie in a hospital bed, you start replaying all the little warning signs you ignored. The fatigue. The slower steps. The restless nights. The bruises that didn't heal. They were all there, whispering that something was wrong, but you didn't listen. This is the reality for millions of people every year, people who thought they were fine until their body finally reached its breaking point. Because the truth is, a major health crisis doesn't come out of nowhere. It builds slowly, day by day, while we convince ourselves that everything is okay. But what if you could catch it before it's too late? What if you could recognize the signs while there's still time to reverse the damage? Think about someone you know, a friend, a sibling, maybe even a parent, who seemed fine one moment and then, without warning, their life changed forever. A stroke that took away their ability to speak. A heart attack that they never recovered from. A diagnosis that shattered everything. What if they had seen it coming? What if they had one more chance to act? Right now, you have that chance. Your body is constantly speaking to you, giving you signals long before disaster strikes. The fatigue isn't random. The slower steps aren't just getting older. The lingering colds, the weaker grip, the disrupted sleep, these are messages, warnings that you still have time to act on. But the scariest part? Most people won't. Most people will ignore these signs, tell themselves it's nothing, and wait, until one day, waiting is no longer an option. But you are not most people. You are here, watching this, because deep down, you know that your health is in your hands. You have a choice to pay attention, to make small changes, to listen to what your body is telling you, or to keep ignoring it until it's too late. And if you've made it this far, then you already know what you need to do. Because the difference between those who survive and those who don't isn't luck, it's awareness. And today, you have that awareness. So now you know, your body warns you long before a major health crisis strikes. Fatigue, unexplained weight changes, poor sleep, slower movement, weak grip, slow healing, these aren't just small inconveniences. They're red flags. The question is, will you listen? Too many people ignore these signs until it's too late. But now, you have the power to act. Start paying attention to your body, make small changes, and don't brush off symptoms that feel different. Because catching these signals early could mean the difference between years of good health and a life-changing crisis. Have you noticed any of these warning signs in yourself or someone you love? Share in the comments, your story could help others recognize these dangers in time. And if this video opened your eyes, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because taking control of your health starts with knowledge. Stay strong, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next video.